Hey there, Shawna Martinez with Performance Team, and today we're talking all things appraisal. So that's kind of the dirty word right now because guess what? Homes are going into multiple offers. Prices are being driven up by the demand. There's no inventory. More buyers than there are inventory, which is the story all around the world right now. And appraisals can't keep up. So what happens if a home doesn't appraise from a listing side and from a buyer side? Well, I'm gonna break it down for you. So seller lists his house and they get 20 offers, all over asking, and the buyer is now in contract to purchase the home. Well, at some point in the transaction, if they're not paying cash, if they're getting a loan, it has to appraise, meaning that a lender, whether it be any type of loan, a VA loan, FHA, conventional, just name a few, if anybody's obtaining financing to purchase the home, it has to appraise, because if it doesn't, the lender's they're not going to loan a dime over what that house value is per the comparables and the condition of the home. So if a seller goes to list his house, he gets 20 plus offers, a buyer comes in and says, hey, I'm gonna pay $30,000, $40,000 more for your house, which we're seeing, by the way, on every home. What happens when the appraisal comes in short? Because it's pretty much happening across the board. Well, a few things. On the sale side, you're gonna wanna look very closely at those offers that come across. Yeah, you may have 20 offers that come in well over asking, but what you care about is the guarantee. Now, what do I mean by the guarantee? So there's an appraisal addendum that's attached to every contract. If you have lending, you can actually add it. It came out in the last year. And what it does is that there's 3 different things that the buyer can check on that appraisal addendum. The first check is waiving the appraisal 100%. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean the house doesn't have to appraise. What it means is if the home comes up short, doesn't matter the dollar value at all, it may not even come in at list price, which we're seeing right now too. That's where comps come into play. You are agreeing to pay 100% out of pocket if you check that first box, which is 100% of the appraisal waiver. The second box is a partial waiver. And what that means is you're agreeing to only come out a certain amount of money out of pocket. So what I tell my clients is this, is if you can't come out 100% if it doesn't appraise, and we're kind of gambling whether or not the appraisal is gonna come up even close to what you're offering, then tell me what you would feel comfortable coming out of pocket. And they'll say, well, I don't wanna come out of pocket any more than $25,000. Okay, great. That's where you'll put in that section B, or number, I guess it's 1B, and it's the partial waiver, and you'll put in there that it has to appraise for a certain amount or more, and if it doesn't, then you'll pay the difference in cash, but it has to appraise to a minimum value. The other one is another waiver that you can do, and it's saying that it has to appraise 100% or you don't move forward. And I will tell you this, that before this market, 90 days ago, the Hunger Games market as I'm calling it, that wouldn't have been so much of a problem because we weren't seeing, $50,000 and $100,000 over every list price going into contract. But now it's a very big deal. And what sellers want is they want a guarantee as well. So the buyer wants to say, hey, I want my offer accepted. I'm coming in with a competitive offer, but the seller on the other side is saying, I really don't care how much you're asking, I care about how much you're guaranteeing. So if you're putting in an offer, you better back that up with your funds, which is why in the previous video that I've done about ways to get your offer accepted in a multiple offer situation and things to prepare for, you need to have those reserve of funds. The other thing is terms are more important than ever. So before, I was one of those agents, I could care less if somebody was putting 5% down on a conventional loan, or if they were doing a 3.5 FHA. I didn't care what kind of financing they were getting as long as the house closed. Even for me, I buy houses every year. You know this is true. Like I literally just bought this house a year ago and we're already thinking about selling. So, I mean, it happens, but I like to keep money in my pocket. I don't like to put a big hefty down payment if it's only gonna make a little bit of difference in my monthly payment. So I put down 5% on my homes. I mean, let's be honest, I put 5% down on my homes. I do conventional financing. I always get a low rate, but now more than ever, if you're putting 20% down on a loan, sometimes we're getting that appraisal completely waived, meaning the lender, depending on all the underwriting requirements and that borrowing power of the borrower, they may not even have to do an appraisal on the house at all. So those are some things that we're looking closely at now on a listing side, being a listing agent, on these offers that are coming across. We want to know that my seller, no matter what, whenever they accept an offer, that they know no matter what, they're going to bottom line walk away with a certain chunk of money from the closing table. And the only way to do that is with those guarantees on that appraisal waiver.